Oh, I was just trying to figure something out, but that's great. I guess I'll put this iPhone away. Did I do that? It's unconscious. Jeez. This is how change happens. You let somebody know they do something annoying. Eh, no, he was fine. I was really afraid you went belly up. Oh dear. Ugh, I hate that. Oh, it's hypothermia. Oh, ooh, great. Fire that engineer. Check one. Check. He's fixing it.
Let's see
Is
here.
it true?
Why?
You got nothing? All right,
How
we'll.
about
I'm
now?
sure it'll be better soon.
Oh my! I don't know why this keeps happening, guys. I'm sure you can hear me now. I was just giving everyone a shout out. Thank you for letting me know the audio wasn't working. I will try to enunciate more clearly for those of you that lip read. That's a bummer because I was telling my Splash Mountain story about how I got completely soaked and drenched on the final ride. I don't know if they packed too many people in the boat or people that weighed the boat down on that last splash. So I was at Disneyland last week. I'm sure some of you know. Um, we came down that ride, and I'd done the ride like 6 or 7 times in the 3 days that I was there. But this last one, I don't know if it's the way they packed the flume or whatever it was. Is it a flume? The log?
Pack the flume. Flume packing.
So they need to rejigger their flume packet because we came down and that log almost went belly up. A whole wave came over the boat and completely drenched me so bad that it actually drenched my backpack. It drenched my spare clothes in the backpack. Everything was completely soaked. All right, Lewis, you want some tweet action here? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Check this out.
So ready.
Check out that tweet action. That's going to bring them in.
All right, we got the 30-second delay, right, Mr.
Yeah.
Blue?
No, wait. Here we go. Send now. I have the option to just send now. Can you see it?
Yes,
Boom.
we have tweet.
We have the tweet. The tweet has been tweeted. And let's go ahead and get this thing rolling because we got a lot of stuff to talk about here today, including some surprising news. Let's see. I'll cue up Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D, how are you today? Oh, I had some serious log action myself this weekend with El Kenny. Oh,
Dear.
jeez. I did not need to know that, nor do I want to imagine what you're even talking about. I could take that joke further, but I shall not. I shall not. Mrs. D, if you don't mind, before you make all of us nauseous, can we just get this show on the road? We have a lot of Apple stuff to talk about here. We got all the iOS 17 leaks here to discuss, plus more. So let's get this music queued up, and we'll get this thing rolling in 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute app conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elias. Join me today. Local authorities questioned him this week about the disappearance of Cult-to-Mac writer Griffin Jones. His sworn testimony is that Griffin is on vacation this week, but to be honest, I'm not so sure. He's the managing editor of Cult-to-Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
It's great to be back.
Where is he? Where is he, Lewis?
I've been advised not to discuss.
Your lawyers advised you not to discuss this until the trial's over.
My people.
I apologize for me being a little bit coffee. I don't know if I'm sick or if it's just my allergies, but I got something going on, man. More than the usual. How's Al Katie, by the way? I saw him pop into the Slack the other day, and I was like, oh, he's alive.
He's still there every day, pounding away, doing stuff.
Does
a newsletter every day. I mean, we don't promote the newsletter enough. Cult-to-Mac today, it's a fantastic little newsletter. Yeah. Leander puts it together every day. Unless he's not around, then I have to do it.
Does he write any of it, or is he just...
Yeah, he writes an intro every day.
Oh, he writes an intro every single day?
Well, Monday through Friday.
Wow.
It's a weekday only thing.
What a grind.
And we try and send it out right around noon Pacific every day. And it's got the best Apple stories we got. It's basically got everything that we've published in the last 24 hours. I mean, it's pretty nice. But what's awesome about it is Leander, does these intros, and so he a lot of times he has some, certain insights into things that are, informed.
I like to make fun of LK, but he does have insights about stuff.
And he doesn't just, his intro, he always talks about one specific story, right? But he doesn't necessarily just, say what's in that story. He might, riff on the topic, whatever. Mm-hmm. So if you're not subscribed to that, I don't know what your problem is. I mean, it is free. It is daily. It's a good read. So
don't be a complete moron.
Is that the pitch? Maybe I should soften the pitch. I don't know.
Subscribe to the don't be a moron. Subscribe to the Cult-to-Mac newsletter. You idiot.
It's easy. You can find it right on our homepage. We've got big sign-ups. You can sign up for that. Or if you don't want a daily email, we also have one called The Weekender. I send out on Saturdays. And that's that's not every single post we do in a week. It's a little more selective.
Just the good ones.
Yeah. Just the absolute cream of the crop. And
so much
sometimes
cream.
there's so much cream that it like sloshes over.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to even know what to pick because all of them are so top tier. All right, look. Before we dive in, let me just give you a rundown of everything we're going to talk about here today. Since I know you want to know. We're talking about iOS 17, and we have tons of leaks here. Germinator on a roll this week. I feel like we have pretty much everything that's going to be included in iOS 17. I'm sure there will be some surprises that we don't have here, but I feel like this might be 80 to 90% of what we're going to get. And we have a lot of details on some and just kind of like high-level details on other parts of it, so we'll go over that. Let's see here. We got another giveaway, of course. We're going to be talking about some of the top streaming shows on Apple TV Plus, of which... there are 3 shows that Apple TV Plus now has that are at the top of the streaming chart. So, like the most popular shows that are streamed today. That 3 of them are now on Apple TV Plus. One of them that I'm probably going to start this weekend. And then the company that just will not die. Shout out to, let's see here. Who was this? Someone pinged me right before the show in the very exclusive Cult Club. CP Bullet Sponge reached out to me with a link to Engadget about MoviePass. MoviePass is back, baby. I was looking at it, and I was looking at their new pricing plans, or the new plans and the new pricing, and honestly, it's actually not bad. And there's one tier of the plan that I think might be worth the price.
Oh dear heavens!
Yeah. So
again with the MoviePass,
they're back, and this is actually decent. I mean, I can't believe it that they're still around, but so we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Before we dive in, is this going to load for me? Oh, yeah, I think so. Before we dive in, I want to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace, of course, has everything you need to sell anything. How do I know? Because I'm independently wealthy. Because I sell the Cult Cloth at cultcloth.co. It runs on Squarespace, and it's just the closest that you can have to a U.S. Mint printing you money. You just set up the website. It takes you no time at all, minutes, and you'll have a beautiful website up, and you can sell digital products, physical products. You can create a members-only website where people can subscribe to participate in your community. You can set up a calendar where people can book time, so you can like teach them stuff if you have any teachable skills. I don't know what that's like, but that sounds useful. You can create virtually any kind of website that you can think of, and you can do it quickly. And if you want, you can dive in and customize absolutely everything. They have these templates that you use as a start, and then you can dive in and just change everything. Colors, fonts, positions, absolutely everything. It takes no time at all. It's really easy because there's no coding to learn. Everything's just like drag and drop. It really is like the Apple of websites. They make everything so easy. It's beautiful. And if you still don't have a website, you've been hearing me talk about Squarespace for I think like 7 years now. If you still don't have one and you're like, now's the time. I'm finally going to stop being a slacker, like Mr. Strickland called me. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference, of which there's probably only one or two. Okay, chat. Mr. Strickland's calling you a slacker. Anyone got that? Anyone? And if you're ready to not be a slacker, well, now's your time to shine. Head to squarespace.com/cultcast. Sign up for a trial. You get a 2-week trial. They don't even need your credit card. And you can just start building your website. And if you like it, at the end of the trial, you can use code CultCast at checkout to save 10% off your first purchase. And if you do a year of service, which is what I do, you get an additional discount for having a longer subscription. And it's a really great value. So squarespace.com/cultcast. Make sure to use offer code CultCast at checkout. Thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Okay, Lewis, sending it your way. Let's just dive right in here. iOS 17 might add smart home display mode to iPhone. This was a big story this week. Oh, Level Remix gets it. What do I have for you here, Level Remix? Do I have anything for you? How about this?
Oh, dear.
Oh, my.
That's all I got.
Jeez. Wow.
Hey, Strickland! I'm impressed. Not a lot of people would get that reference anymore. It's Back to the Future. Okay, Lewis, sorry. Now I'm finally sending it to you to talk about this story.
Yeah, so this is the latest thing about iOS 17 we've heard. Supposedly the always-on display in iPhone Pro is going to get a new use in iOS 17. Device will reportedly show upcoming appointments, controls for smart home accessories, and more. It's being described as a smart display mode. So if you got your iPhone locked and positioned horizontally, it'll show your calendar, local weather, and stuff like that, or I guess HomeKit stuff. This is a report from Bloomberg. Right now, the iPhone 14 Pro, those are the only ones that have always on display, and of course, iPhone 15 Pro is going to have that too, almost undoubtedly. I mean, it would be shocking if it didn't. Latest rumors are that iPhone regular, normie iPhone 15 is not going to have the always on display. Supposedly that's coming like in years from now. So
Sure.
This is only going to be for Pro. And I guess that's why it's not going to, this wouldn't be, this feature would not be available on iPads either, right? They don't have the always on display.
That is true. And I was going to mention that this feature would be perfect for iPad.
Exactly.
Unfortunately,
Perfect for iPad.
Unfortunately, no, doesn't seem like it's coming to iPad, at least anytime soon.
Yeah, it's weird. We're when we were writing and editing this, it was like, man, it's weird how these features come to iPhone and they just it takes them years to make it to iPad. It's weird. I mean, in this case, I believe it's a hardware situation. So
yeah, maybe. Although, can't they just dim the iPad display and allow it to always be on if it's plugged in or something? I mean, the thing about the iPad is it doesn't have an OLED display, which means there's no risk of burn-in. So really, this really would be perfect for iPad. And I'm sad to see that it's at least not in the near term coming to iPad, because how are you supposed to utilize this phone or this feature on your phone?
I know it seems too small, and like when we were
and most
doing
people lay their
pre-show
phone flat,
talk,
so you can't really see it when it's just laying there.
It's, I mean, if you have it on a one of these MagSafe chargers, okay, maybe, sure. I can understand how it could happen. You got a MagSafe charger by your couch or something, and you want to just reach over it. It actually kind of makes sense in that regard. But, yeah, it seems like it would be much more suited to, like, an iPad that you mount on your wall and leave there like for quite some time.
Well, Gurman was speculating, and I think this makes a lot of sense, that this is basically a precursor to them releasing some kind of updated HomePod or some kind of device with an always-on display. As it's kind of like the Amazon Echo Show, which is a speaker with a screen attached to it. It's essentially like a speaker with an iPad attached that you can use as like a command center for all the different HomeKit stuff for your home, for widgets and stuff. It's a simple thing, but I actually would find that to be really useful. I would love to have something that had a bunch of widgets that showed me weather, HomeKit statuses. You could turn lights on and off. You could see security cameras and stuff. Like, I actually feel like that would be really cool. Although I would love to just see it on an iPad with a software update and not have to buy some kind of new gadget. But I'm super excited for iPhone 15, man. So like I was I was in Disney. I can't resist. So I was at Disneyland this last weekend, and I took my iPhone 13 Pro. Yes, I still have that phone. I took a Insta360 X3, which is their newest 360 camera, and I also took a GoPro Hero 11. So like all the newest cameras, and I was trying to figure out which ones created like the best videos, especially when you're going on rides and stuff, and especially when you take into account like low light situations, because a lot of rides have low light. Well, they just have low lighting situations. And even my iPhone 13 Pro, man, it just, in so many situations, it just destroyed. Like in situations where the GoPro Hero 11 just couldn't see anything. It was too dark.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone could see fine. It was like, HDR, Dolby Vision. It didn't look perfect because it was kind of grainy in many situations, but it worked. And same with the Insta360. The Insta360 is great for bright situations, so is the GoPro. But the iPhone, man, the one thing the iPhone is kind of missing at this point is a way to film from the front camera and the back camera at the same time. I wish they would add this in software. There are some apps that let you do it. It's perfect for when you're going on rides or you want to show yourself reacting to what's in front of the camera. And there are apps that you can get that do this, but all of them are kind of expensive, and they're all kind of kludgy. Like, they just don't work very well. And I would just love to see Apple enable something where you could project the front camera over the back camera so you could show yourself reacting to whatever situation you were in. All that said, the GoPro Hero 11 was the one that I used most often for roller coasters and stuff because it came with a handle. It has a screen on the front and the back, so no matter which way you're pointing it, you can see where the camera is pointed, which is super useful. And it was great for like Thunder Mountain, which is a railroad roller coaster, because I could point it at myself as a super wide angle. I could point it at myself, and then because it's secured to this stick that has a strap that wraps around my wrist, I could flip it around really fast and point it at what I'm seeing, and then point it back at my face or my kids who were on the roller coaster behind me or the car behind me. And because it has screens on both sides, I could always frame my shot. I wish that iPhone would add a screen on the back. I know this will probably never happen.
Oh my gosh.
But at least the ability to see the front camera in post on the back camera, that would make it so much more useful for like vlogging and stuff. Yeah, Lewis.
Yeah, this is not something I've ever had a
It's kind
desire
of niche,
for.
I guess. But I think that the screen on the back, definitely kind of niche. But how many times have you been recording something and even wanted to flip the camera around to the front-facing camera while you were recording? Like, you can't even do that on iPhone.
I don't think I ever have, not once in my life.
Are you serious? You've never wanted to portray your face as you're looking at something else?
Hell
in the
no,
video?
who would want to look at this?
I don't know, man. I feel like that happens to me all the time, especially when I am like filming kids opening presents or something. Because as the dad, you're never in any of the videos. I'm always the one taking the video, but I'm never in them. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Hey, I know. In 20 years my kids won't remember what I look like, but I guess that's fine because Apple didn't want to integrate a camera switching a camera switching feature inside of the camera app. I mean, if nothing else, that's what Apple should do. I mean, you could do that on Android phones. Switch the camera around from the front to the back while you're taking a video.
Or you could put in a special request.
Yeah, all right. No one cares about me. But okay, so there is iOS 17 and display mode. Okay, let's move on to some of the other features that we've talked about before, but now these are confirmed. Germinator confirmed these. Let's see here. Let me open up the story first. And that is a dedicated journaling app and mood tracking app. I'm reading from Mac Rumors here. The iOS 17 update that plans... sorry, I screwed that up. The iOS 17 update that Apple plans to announce in June will include a dedicated journaling app. And let's see here. Oh, this is just the Wall Street Journal.
That went off the rails pretty rapidly.
There's a line below it that says the exact same thing. It's like, yes, they're gonna,
Disney rides don't go off the rails that fast.
the flume almost did. I almost got deflumed there. So there is going to be a journaling app, which I'm actually excited for. I've wanted to try journaling apps in the past, but I think most of them, if not all of them, have moved to a subscription model, which I'm not a fan of, Liz. Not a fan of subscription journaling.
I don't know if that's true, is it?
Yeah, I think so. At least all the popular ones have moved to a subscription. I mean, all the best apps have moved to subscriptions. And so Apple, just including a basic one, is going to be interesting. Let's see here. The Wall Street Journal in April highlighted Apple's work on a day one style of journaling app, but at the time it was not clear if it would be in iOS 17. Now it apparently is going to be. According to Gurman, it is coming to iOS 17. Dude, we know. And it will introduce note-taking and a stronger social element to the iPhone. There are no other details on the app in the report, but the Wall Street Journal previously said that the app will let users keep track of their daily activities and their thoughts. Apple will give people topics to write about, like prompts, such as a workout or a meeting. Tell me how you feel about your workout.
Ooh, sounds awesome.
And there will be a all-day people discovery feature that determines when a user is in close proximity to other people. The app will know when users receive text messages, phone calls, and other notifications, but privacy will be a focus. Yeah, of course. The journaling app appears to be health-related and will analyze what each typical user's day is like, and it could integrate with the mood tracking feature that Apple has also planned for iOS 17. I really wonder how that's going to work.
It's going to be like a mood ring.
Or maybe it's going to have like some emojis, and you just press it on how you're feeling or something. The emotion tracking app will let users keep track of their mood, answer questions about their day, and view the results over time. With the journaling app and the mood tracking functionality, Apple plans to bring the health app to the iPad for the first time. Okay, finally something coming to the iPad. Allowing iPad owners to view their health-related data even when an iPhone is unavailable. So, I don't know, what do you think about emotion tracking? You're an emotional guy. And journaling?
I have a journaling app on my iPhone, and oddly enough, when we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, let me check this out. Day one, and I looked at it, and I actually used it like for part of a vacation one time, and it was actually kind of cool because I had here's where we went on this day, and here's what we did, and I don't know about you, but I mean, I end up going, years later, going, I can't remember if I've been to this city or what I did, or if I went to that church, especially like in Italy where there's like so many churches and they all have the same names and you don't really remember which ones you've been to. So I think that, that kind of thing can be handy, and if you're good about using it, that's great. The whole thing about the health related stuff, I mean, I have some kind of, I can't even remember the name of it, some health app that it asks you questions, like it does a thing, and it gives you the ability to say, I was feeling this way at this time when this happened. I suppose that's good if you're trying to get to the bottom of some kind of problem. Like, I had I felt like I was having a heart attack. Well, what were you doing? I was riding Splash Mountain, whatever. I mean, I can see how that could be useful. I don't know how. I'm not that excited about it, to be honest. Are you?
I think the thing that I'm most excited about is journaling and keeping track of things that have happened in my family with my kids, right? So it wouldn't be for a health perspective from me, but it would be a way for me to track memories of things that happened in my family. Things happen all the time, and I'm like, oh, man, I would love to make a note of this somewhere.
Yeah.
That this was an event that happened that I wanted to remember, like my kid did something or said something, or we went somewhere, and I just don't really have a great way to do that.
You could just look at your Google Calendar. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and Apple, if Apple makes some kind of way where it has some kind of little prompt, I don't know. It could be triggered by anything, right? It could be triggered by a fall. It could be triggered by just a time of day. It's 9:00. What do you want to remember from today? I mean, that could be cool. Or maybe it surfaces some photos you took that day and says, "Oh, do you want to make a note about these?"
Yeah, what
I mean,
happened in these? Yeah, make a note. That'd be really cool.
What were you doing here? So that kind of thing. Because I mean, the biggest problem with journaling apps is, are you in the habit of using it? Can you stay in the Can you get or stay in the habit of using it? Because they're useless if you don't use them like daily, right? I think. Maybe not daily, but frequently.
Yeah, and you have to have a good format to, journal on a regular basis. So anyway, I think this is cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what Apple's idea of journaling looks like. It looks like we also have some other updates coming to other parts of iOS, namely, let's see here. There we go. Namely, Wallet, Find My, SharePlay, and AirPlay upgrades. Apple's upcoming iOS 17 update. Okay, I just said that literally. In a report today, by the way, I know we're doing a lot of regurgitations here. That's because Gurman dropped a Bloomberg article, I think in the last couple days, that talked about a lot of this stuff. So a lot of this stuff is coming from his article. In a report, Gurman said the Wallet app in particular will have significant changes, but he did not provide specific details. He added that Apple is planning location services enhancements for the Find My app without elaborating further. Dude, the Find My app is a sleeper. People don't use the Find My app as often as they should. I use it all the time, and people think it's creepy how I use it, but if you have a family, again, it's super useful. I put geofences around my wife at least twice a week. She's going somewhere. I told her I was going to do something before she gets home, and I want to just not do it. So I wait, and then I'll put a geofence around her, notify me when she leaves this geolocation. And it does, and I'm like, oh shoot, she's gonna be home in 15 minutes. I better do the dishes like I said I was gonna do it.
I gotta figure out how to do that.
Dude, it's so simple. I mean,
I know how to check and see, look and see if, for instance, if my wife has left work, but I don't know how to actually set an alert that tells me she's on her way.
Yeah, you can set an alert that says she's arrived somewhere, she's left somewhere. You can set an alert that tells you to remind you about something when you go to a specific location. Like one that I just recently set is I believe I left a guitar case at my parents' house, and I've been meaning to get it, but every time I go over there, I forget about it. So I set a reminder based on a geofence that says when I'm in this geofence, remind me to look for the guitar case. Huh. So there's all sorts of like little useful stuff that you can. Yeah. So T4 Runner saying Find My app is essential if you have a family and pets that like to escape. Oh, actually, that's interesting. I should put an AirTag on my dog.
Yeah, I've been meaning to put one on my cat. Apple recommends you don't, but speculation is speculation is that that's just because they don't want any, they don't want to be liable for somebody losing a dog. And I mean, by the way, if you live in the country and you put one of those on your dog, it might be useless because if it's out in the country and nobody's walking by it with an iPhone, then big deal, right?
Dude, Find My has saved me in several instances. Like I've told these stories before. Like I lost my iPad. And with Find My, I was able to recover it. Also, my AirPods Max, I accidentally left it at Airbnb in Florida when I went to Disney World. And I thought they were gone, man, long gone. And then somebody connected to them, somebody who rented the Airbnb after us, and immediately it pinged my phone. And so I called the owner of the Airbnb, and I was like, someone there has my headphones. And so he calls them, and they're like, we didn't know. We didn't know what these were.
Right.
They probably, they just found them in a drawer or something. I don't remember where they were. But without that ping to me and then contacting the Airbnb owner, that person probably would have just kept my AirPods Max. Why wouldn't you? That's like a really nice pair of headphones sitting in a drawer. But as soon as they connected, the person calls them and is like, we know that they're there. And so they're like, sorry, here they are. Come get them. So
right. It is awesome. Although, have you noticed that it could be a little flaky? Like sometimes, I usually use it. My most common use is for keys. Like where did I leave my truck keys? And sometimes it's just not as useful as you would think. And you're walking around. It's in your house. I mean, it's real good at telling you what address the thing is at, but it ain't as good at telling you exactly where in your house. And yes, I know it's supposed to, give you the little like crazy. I love the way it looks, by the way, the little like atoms dispersing or whatever.
I was telling you,
as
like,
you get closer,
where to go. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool the way it works, but it's it can be a little difficult sometimes to get like. It seems like there needs to be a sweet spot, right? You need to be within a certain amount of feet, and a lot of times it's telling you like, "Oh, move closer." You're like, "Closer where?" I mean, I'm in my house, downstairs, I guess maybe. I don't know. And oddly enough, you're asking about Leander Caney. The other day, he calls me. He says, "Hey, can I borrow your key to the office because I can't find mine? Find My says it's here, but I can't find it." And it he he's looked all over his house. He's pressed the thing trying to make it ding, and so he can find it. Can't find it. Can't find it. Eventually, he's like getting in his car, drive over to my house to get this, and it's in his car. It was in his trunk. He found it somehow. Like I guess he got close enough and it worked. Or I don't even know actually if Find My did it or if he just like, oh, look at that back. Oh, there's my stuff. But so it does have limitations. But yeah,
it does. It relies on connections to other Apple devices, which sometimes are available, sometimes are not, and then sometimes it just doesn't connect. And like if you're trying to find your AirPods, like good luck. It always has trouble connecting to AirPods.
And I also get false alarms. I a lot of times like, oh, you left your AirPods at such and such locations. Like, no, they're right here in my pocket. I don't understand what's up with that.
It's probably because if it loses connection for a certain amount of time, it just presumes that your thing is disconnected or it's gone.
It's kind of stupid.
Yeah, it is better than nothing. It's not perfect. I wish it had a. This is probably not possible due to battery power. But I do wish it had like a cell connection in it because that would fix the problem, right? Like if it were like an Apple Watch and you could just have it connected to your cell plan at all times and it could communicate its GPS location, like that would be super useful.
Don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, me either. All right, let me mention this other feature. Apple's also working on upgrades to SharePlay. I don't ever use SharePlay, but the feature is for watching content with family and friends over a FaceTime call. And improvements to its wireless streaming protocol, AirPlay. That's all the details we have on that, unfortunately. So I think this is going to encompass the majority of the updates that we see to iOS 17. Like I said, there will probably be some surprises in there, but I bet you this is going to be like 80 or 90% of what we see. But I always obviously love getting new iOS upgrades because it feels like you get a new device. And, I totally forgot where I was going with the story about new devices. So I'm really excited for iPhone 15. I kind of trailed off into finishing that story because the cameras are going to be so much better than my iPhone 13 Pro and the low light performance especially. And I kind of wonder if some of these apps that struggle with showing the back camera and the front camera at the same time will be able to do it more reliably once you have a little bit more processing power like you will in the iPhone 15 and also just the low light capability. It's only on the iPhone 13 Pro, really only the, I don't even know what to call it, not the wide, but the, or I guess it's the wide angle, not the ultra wide. That camera is the only one that looks good in the dark. All the other ones look like crap. They're like super grainy. They look terrible. But the wide camera angle, it's not wide enough. So really what you want is to have like really good low light performance on the ultra wide, which the iPhone 13 Pro has. I don't know how good the iPhone 14 Pro is. I haven't really spent much time playing around with it, but there's really not a better camera, honestly, for low light performance and just for quality than your iPhone. Like the GoPro, it's definitely useful in many scenarios. It doesn't look as good. The Insta360 definitely doesn't look as good because it has a 5.7K resolution, but it's split between the front and the back camera. And with the iPhone, you just get a 4K Dolby Vision image, HDR, which just looks beautiful. It really is a good camera. We're like 5 years away from not even needing regular cameras anymore, I think. Especially if Apple actually gets their AI stuff and is able to use machine learning to improve like the quality of your images and your videos and stuff. It might get to a point where you really don't need a normal camera unless you have a very specific need for one. But I still think that we're a ways from that because regular cameras, as long as you're not looking at an HDR situation, take way better pictures than an iPhone does. iPhone's great for a lot of different uses, but it's not the highest quality, I would say. But when it comes to like portable cameras, it's probably the best that there is. All right, Lewis, let's talk about the giveaway real fast because we got some good stuff to give away this week, right?
Oh, yeah, just like always, right? This week we got, I got to say, this is only for Apple Watch Ultra owners. So, if you're not in on that, then forget about this week's thing. But anyway, what we're giving away this week is 5 of them. 5, that's a lot. 5 Quattro Pro 2.0 cases for Apple Watch Ultra. This is kind of weird. I mean, it's called a case, but it's actually a strap with a case.
Okay.
And it kind of looks a little bit like Apple's Ocean Band. You know that one?
Yeah,
diving
well, it makes it look like an old school Casio watch.
Yeah, and it's got a case that goes around it, and it comes with a screen protector, so you won't have that sickening feeling when you're out rappelling down the side of a mountain and you like, oh crap, I cracked the screen on my Apple Watch Ultra. Because I mean, is that what you usually use yours for, is rappelling and?
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah,
spelunking, yeah.
Yeah, also spelunking. It's a lot of screen damage when you're spelunking. And anyway, these things retail for $25.99. We sell them in the Cult of Mac store. If you want to get into the giveaway, all you got to do is go to the homepage, cultofmac.com, scroll down to the place where it says, you won't believe this, it says Cult of Mac giveaway, and get your name in the hat. There's multiple ways to enter. You can subscribe to those newsletters, like I was telling you. You can probably visit Elkson. Elkson is a manufacturer. This, by the way. Probably visit them on Twitter, things like that. Just different ways you can rack up multiple entries. I think this one runs for maybe 4 more days. So, you got a limited time. Don't put it off too long. Get in there and get your hat in the ring.
Hey, what about this watch face that it's showing here? Is that possible? Like, what is this?
Let's see.
What
In the top? I don't know. It looks like a custom Elkson.
I know. It looks like a custom watch face, which I heard a rumor last week that Watch OS was going to get a watch face store.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how true
ways
that
you
is.
can do custom things, if you look at their
that's
website,
super custom. I mean, look at that.
New dynamic watch face. They collaborated with French designer, oh my God, Mr. JX.
Yeah, but how do you get that onto your watch? Because that looks like a authentic Casio watch face.
You use Clockology, which is a free app. Have you ever used any of these apps like Facer? And
no,
I haven't used Clockology. I've used Facer. You can. There's all kinds of things you can do with custom watch faces. It's just
okay. So it's an app that you're running.
You download a different app and then you download this watch face.
Now that's interesting. I didn't know that was possible. So if you download an app and the app looks like a watch face, then you have yourself a new watch face.
Yeah, Facer is the one that I've used in the past to see some custom things.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't even realize that was a possibility.
Yeah, if you look at Facer has things like things that you buy, like premium watch faces, but based on pop culture stuff. I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. Anime, cartoons.
Dude, check this out. Watch faces by Facer. 43,000 ratings. 4.7 stars. Dude, this is crazy.
You've never heard of it?
I had never even heard of this.
Maybe
Over
we should write this up.
300,000 watch faces. The largest watch face platform in the world. Brands that you love. Wow, these are pretty cool.
Look, they have a Groot watch face, I mean, they got all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Snoopy, Hello Kitty, Mario. I'm just scrolling down.
I can't believe that we've never heard of this.
Well, I have.
Well, how come whenever I talked about watch faces, you never brought it up? Why are you withholding information?
It's hard to get in a word edgewise sometimes, Sarfan. I'm sorry. I thought you knew about Facer.
No. So, I don't know if I can get this to show on camera. Let me see.
Oh, my God. So now it's like a complete mind-blowing situation. You're just like...
My gourd is blown. Can I show this on camera?
Oh, nice and blurry.
Yeah,
got a nice reflection of your Venetian blinds. That's nice. You need the... I can't believe we don't have the face-down camera set up. That's what you got to do. That's your next job. Get your intern on that.
Yeah, my
I got
well-paid
nothing,
intern.
Man. Super blurry.
Yeah, this is not working. All right, well, the app is called Facer. I'm gonna check this out. And I guess it works by just being an app, and the app just emulates watch faces. So I had no idea this was even possible. I'm sure it's not as convenient as having like an actual watch face because, it is an app, and so if you accidentally press a button, you're going to leave the app. You have to load the app if you want to have like the watch face present, and there are different things that can happen on your Apple Watch, which would cause the app to close. So, but I'm going to check this out right now, man. There are some cool looking watch faces in here. There we go. And that's all the. All right, look. That was a serious tangent here. Before we continue, I also want to give. Let's see here. Do I have this open somewhere? Where'd it go?
Oh dear.
There we go.
Everything's all out of whack now.
No,
man.
I got it. I want to give Factor a shout out and thank Factor for sponsoring this episode. Factor is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Ready to eat. I emphasize that. It's ready to go. Can help you fuel up fast with ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and tackle everything on your to-do list because you're going to have so much manpower just ready to go. Factor offers delicious, flavor-packed options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles, from keto to calorie-smart, vegan, plus veggie, protein plus. That's the one I tried. I'll talk about that here in a sec. Prepared by chefs and approved by dietitians, each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long while meeting your goals. So I tried out a bunch of Factor food, and I said this on a previous episode, and I really did mean it. It is the best prepared meal kit that I have tried. Like, I call it man food. Man food. Look at this. It's just like steak, asparagus, broccoli, chicken. If you like to have that man fuel, like protein, vegetables, potatoes, simple ingredients, then I think that you should give this a shot. They heat up really fast, like they're ready within minutes. And the surprising thing to me is normally when you reheat stuff, it can be kind of dry and rubbery, but not with these. I mean, they were ready to go in, 3-4 minutes, and the chicken was all moist and juicy. Everything was truly delicious. Like they had a variety, like a wide variety of flavor profiles. So I got like 3 or 4 different chicken dishes, and they all tasted completely unique. They were all really good, and you get like a big old slab of protein and then like vegetables and potatoes or other kinds of vegetables and stuff with it. So you just feel good. Like you're eating good food that tastes good, but it also is like good for you food that actually gives you energy. It's not like a gut bomb that you would get where you eat it and then you need to take a nap for 2 hours afterwards. And it is just so good. Like it just tastes good. My kids liked it. We ate the entire box in, I think, 2 days. We had finished off the entire thing. So if you're looking for wholesome food that's tasty, that's going to give you that manpower that you need to get your workout done or to go out and have an active day, it's easy to recommend Factor. Check out, head to factormeals.com/TCM50 and use code TCM50 to get 50% off your first box. 50% off. That's code TCM50 at factormeals.com/TCM50 to get 50% off your first box. So you have to use that special URL, and you also have to use code TCM50 to get 50% off your first box. Try it out. I really loved it. It was really good. And it's totally unique. I've never tried anything that was as tasty and easy to prepare as the Factor food was. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at here, Lewis? Oh, we got a couple stories left. So we talked all about iOS 17. I think we could move on to some other news. This week, Apple TV Plus has locked themselves in some hit shows. And by hit shows, they're some of the most popular shows on streaming. I currently have a trial of Apple TV Plus. I'm going to try and work one of these in this weekend. Although my trial is expiring soon, and I'm not sure that my Best Buy hack is going to work anymore. Not only that, man, but just as an aside, I have 100 gigabytes of iCloud storage space left. And after that, I'm totally out of iCloud storage space. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to work this. I think my plan is going to include our sponsor, Milio, because they have a great cross-platform app that allows you to upload stuff from Windows and from Mac and manage it on all your devices. But I'm trying to figure out how to fully transition all my stuff over to Milio, and then am I going to keep iCloud at all anymore because I've been using it for so long? I'm kind of hesitant to just turn it off. So I'm trying to figure out what to do, but 100 gigabytes left, man, and then I'm done. And Apple has no upgrade plan for me. You know what? That just reminds me. I really need to make that post about how 4K content on your phone is a total scam. Because it really is. I took all this great video over on my Disney trip, and I started watching it on my 4K Apple TV. All of it's in HD. So I'm paying for all this video to get stored on Apple servers. They're charging me for it. I'm about to run out of space. And I can't even enjoy the 4K footage that I've recorded because there's no way to do it. Well, no convenient way. Sorry, I'm backtracking. All right, Lewis, let's talk about Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, this is big news for Apple TV Plus. They just keep rolling out the hits, and right now, I guess this is like last week or whatever. There's 3 shows that have showed up on this week's list of last week's list of most watched streaming movies and TV shows, and you've heard of one of them for sure, Ted Lasso, the first show that ever got them any kind of attention.
Hold on, let me know when you're done talking about Ted Lasso.
Wow. Okay. Not a fan, I see.
It just seems so boring. This show just seems so boring. I guess I'm not a soccer fan, so for me,
it has almost nothing to do with soccer.
Yeah, except it's about soccer, right?
It's about people, Irfan. It's about humanity. And I loved the first season. I thought it was great. I thought it was very wholesome, very it was pleasing. It came out during the pandemic. It was like uplifting. It was I loved it first season. Second season, I liked all right. Not as much as the first one. Third one I have not watched just because other things on my
it was a snooze
list.
fest.
But no, just haven't gotten around to it. I'll watch it once it's all done. I'm not a big fan of this releasing one show a week, HBO model. It's just too hard, man. I can only watch one show at a time, and that's
you want to binge.
Yeah,
HBO is now Max. They changed their name to Max.
I don't want to binge. But I want to be able to watch an entire thing like within a week or two, right? Because I don't watch that much TV. I don't sit and watch TV for 8 hours in a row. I watch TV for 20 minutes at a time, maybe, while I'm working out. So anyway, that's a super big sidetrack. It's the other 2 shows that are big right now. Well, one's a show, one's a movie. One is called Silo, and this is one that I'm super excited to start watching. Now, I haven't started watching this either. Same exact problem. The whole season is not out. This is only, I think there's maybe like 4 episodes out so far. This one, have you heard about it? I mean, it's cool.
I've only heard what you told me, and I love sci-fi. It's probably my favorite genre. So as soon as you told me the premise, I was like, this is definitely going on my list.
Yeah, the trailer made it look really good, and it's getting good reviews. Our recapper, Scout Tafoya, loves it. Let's see, and the other thing, and Scout hated this. There's a movie called Ghosted, and this is an action flick. It stars Chris Evans and Ana de Armas.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the story behind that one?
No, I don't. But I don't think you told us the story behind Silo. Can you tell us that real fast?
Oh yeah. So Silo is set in the future. Everybody lives in this giant, you won't believe it, giant silo, and it sounds a little bit like Snowpiercer, but in a building, right? And people they can't go outside to the surface of Earth, or they because it's toxic for whatever reason. That's a big mystery. Like who set this up? Who's running the show? Why can't they go outside? The government that runs the thing is shifty and malevolent, and it sounds really interesting, and it sounds like not a completely unique idea, but it does sound.
It's definitely
like
not unique. Done. Like there are several shows that I can think of that had episodes around this premise, not least of which would be Lost. Remember the bunker where they had to press the button?
Oh yeah, I feel like I live in that bunker.
So this kind of feels like in that realm,
Yeah, it sounds cool, and I don't know if you've seen this, but we've started running this series, just like roughly weekly or whatever. It's called 3 Reasons to Watch, and we recently did one on Silo. And one of the main reasons is the main actress who's just supposedly really good, does a great performance. Is this like I'm not even supposed to say actress anymore, am I? This female actor.
Oh, really? Is actress banned now too?
Like,
I hadn't heard that.
Oh my God,
I hadn't heard that.
I'm in a Siri doom loop here. Now Siri is saying to me, "I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you." Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
tell
not
me about
trying
it.
to talk to you. Go away. Wow, that was disconcerting. I couldn't hear you because Siri was trying to hear
Just keep
me.
going off. Okay.
So great.
Okay, so tell us
see.
about Ghosted now.
Oh, okay. So you got enough of Silo?
Yeah, I feel like I got a sense of what it's about. Yeah.
It's supposedly great. Anyway, Ghosted is an action flick. Stars, almost at Chris Pine again, Chris Evans.
There's too many Chris's.
And Anna de Armas. And it's kind of a flip, right? Because you're used to like Chris Evans being Captain America, tough guy, whatever. Well, in this show, I don't think this is a spoiler. I think this is, this is probably in the trailer. He falls in love with this woman, and then she disappears on him, and he follows her to, I can't remember if it's France or somewhere overseas, because he's like super needy, right? But in the end, she's the badass, not him.
Oh,
so it's like I think
Plot
she's a
twist.
CIA agent or something,
Yeah.
So that's the whole gist of it, right? So it sounds like they play that for laughs, the whole like, it's surprising that Chris Pine is not the big tough guy in this, right? She's protecting him.
you mean Chris Evans?
Did I say Pine? Good God, I've got a mental hang up about it. Chris Evans, aka Captain America, and by the way, there's a whole ton of got a phone call, which is awesome. I thought the
dude, all your stuff is just going off, and you're trying to like just spit out.
We started too late, and now all of my barriers have come down. It's
All
red
right, let's
alert.
get this done, and we can move on in our lives. Yeah.
What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, this is actually something that people might be interested in. There's a bunch of cameos in the movie of people from like Marvel movies and stuff like
I love
that.
cameos.
And apparently the people love the cameos. And so I mentioned Scout, our regular recapper. I think he gave this like half a star, whatever is the lowest we can give. And he absolutely hated it. It's not funny. It's just action. It's this, it's that, it's that. And then one of our other writers who actually likes action films watch it. He's like, hey, this is a good.
It seems like you might want to have the person who likes action films review the action film.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I mean, it doesn't get the greatest reviews. It got trashed by a lot of people, but then there are also a lot of people who are like, "Hey, this is good, old-fashioned, fun action film." So I would say if that's the kind of thing you're into, give it a shot. Apparently, it's very popular on the streaming charts, so that's very exciting. The other thing that is, I wanted to mention a couple of other things that are new on Apple TV. There's one called Platonic.
Oh.
It's a comedy starring Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne.
Okay.
And this thing, I kind of like Seth Rogen. I interviewed him one time. He seems like a nice enough guy. I've liked some of the stuff he's done. I've really not liked some of the other stuff he's done. This one, it sounds like it's a good, funny show.
Huh.
And this just started, I think, this week. Scout wrote that up, said it's really great, fun to watch, and it's got like, I don't know, 99 or 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
I hadn't even heard of this.
I know. That's the thing. Apple TV pumps out so much stuff. Now, did you know this? They're releasing shows on Fridays and on Wednesdays.
No, I didn't even know they were releasing shows on Fridays.
Yeah, that's kind of been their thing the whole time. But not lately, they've been releasing half of them on Wednesday, half of them. We got another one called High Desert.
Okay.
So Platonic is about Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. They used to be really good friends a long time ago, and then they both got married and they drifted apart or whatever. And now they're like, I guess he's getting divorced, and so she finds out about that, and they reconnect, and they're trying to be platonic friends. And I don't know, it doesn't sound like my cup of tea necessarily, but that thing has really good reviews. High Desert sounds more interesting. It's more like a dark comedy. It stars Patricia Arquette as this weird, like she works at like a Wild West show town, like as I don't know if she's like a cowgirl or a barmaid in the saloon or what, but that kind of thing. But then she's also like ex-drug addict, and she's trying to become a private eye. It just sounds great. It sounds like she does a great job in this. And if you're into something a little like left of center, it sounds like this is a great show. I mean, way less like down the center kind of thing, like Platonic. But so there's one other thing on Apple TV Plus is very recent and this one I actually did watch. It's called Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. Are you familiar with this?
I think I heard about this.
That movie was quite fun to watch and quite inspiring and moving. I mean, by the end of it, my wife is like, holding back tears. It's all about his whole career and how he was how he came down with Parkinson's like at fairly early age, and it talks a lot. It has a lot of vintage footage of him, in shows and movies and stuff, and how he like it talks a lot about his real like tough kind of getting into the business. I mean, he was like just about ready to pack it up and leave Hollywood when he finally got Family Ties, and he finally got Back to the Future, and it just and then he became like huge,
ultra famous,
huge back then. And then at the height of it, he starts realizing he has Parkinson's, and it has a lot of interviews with him now at present day, and you can really see the way that disease has affected him, and yet throughout it all, I mean, he maintains a sense of humor. He's sharp as a tack, but then they also have things of like him with a therapist trying to walk, and there's one scene where he goes walking outside. I don't know if it's New York City or whatever, but he goes walking outside, and he's like walking down the street, and somebody like passers by is like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Fox," and he actually like fell down. He just he was so he has such a hard time walking, and it's just fascinating, and it really is a great portrait of a human being who's resilient in the face of this pretty horrible disease.
Yeah, I would love to watch this, but I don't know if I can make it through it. I have such a love, and so many people from my generation have such a love of Michael J. Fox. He was so iconic and was in so many great movies. And then to be stricken with this terrible disease at the top of his career, to see what's happened to him is just so tragic and unbelievably sad. I don't know if I can make it through this. I just would be too sad to see it.
It's really something, man. Yeah, and I know what you're saying, and it sounds like it might be a bummer, but it's really not. It's actually inspirational and encouraging, and, it might make you a little weepy, but
just think like, from Michael J. Fox's perspective, I mean, the amount he's had to overcome, and he still keeps a good attitude, and he is not not just given up. I mean, you make it in acting, and you get as high up as he did, and then you're hit with this disease. It would be really easy to become affected and just go through the rest of your life, just angry and bitter.
Right. I was going to say a jerk.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely not that. It is a very compelling movie, and it also has like 99% of Rotten Tomatoes, and similarly high, that's from critics, but also from normal people.
Dude, Apple TV Plus.
They're coming on strong, man. I mean, if you haven't checked it out in a long time, you will be shocked. You go and you look at all the different shows that they have. You could take a year off of work and watch something every day.
It's just amazing because we've been covering this since they started, and they started with nothing. And now they have like this big stable of shows and movies, and not all of it's good, but there is some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're cranking it out at such a pace. And they've got some shows in there that really are incredible. Side note, one show that I really wanted to watch, which is not Apple TV Plus, but it was one of my favorite shows of like the last maybe 5 years, was the Snowpiercer show with Sean Bean. And they finished season 2 recently, and they kept putting the show on HBO Max. So I was hoping they would bring it to HBO Max when season 3 finished. And then they didn't. And so I went to iTunes, and I was like, oh, what's going on with the show? Maybe they have it for sale. They don't. They say this show's not available in your region. Like, you cannot even watch the show anywhere. Like, it's like they're demanding that you pirated it or something. You know, it's just crazy. It's like, how is this show not available on iTunes? You're not even going to let me purchase it? That is so bizarre. So I guess you have to be like in the UK or something. But that show was really good. It had Sean Bean, Jennifer. I want to say Aniston, but it's not her.
Chris Pine.
Jennifer Connelly. You know, I'm also happy to see Chris Evans doing stuff that's outside of Marvel. He was in a movie with I can't remember anyone's name.
Chris
anymore.
Pine.
No, it wasn't Chris
Oh.
Pine. It was on Netflix. It was like this spy show with I know his name.
Wow.
It's just
Wow.
not coming to me. He was in Blade Runner 2049. Help me out here, chat.
Hey, you know, he's also in Defending Jacob, which is on Apple TV Plus. I don't know if you ever watched
Who
that.
is?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans? Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing.
Man from
There's
Uncle?
so much content. It's
No,
kind
it
of
wasn't that.
shocking.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Ah!
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't.
The Gray Man.
The Gray Man. That was it. That was the name of the show. And Chris Evans was in it, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go, to be honest, because I didn't know if he could do anything outside of Captain America. Thank you, Ryan Gosling. Thank you. My goodness, that was completely. It was like right at the front of my temporal lobe, but it couldn't escape. Yeah, Ryan Gosling in
Not again.
what was the name of the movie?
Gray Man.
Great man, thank you. I need to eat lunch.
Wow.
And Chris Evans was in it, and I was like, wow, he's actually pretty good in that, and he's like a very bad guy in that movie, and I thought he did great. So it's cool to actually see him leave the realm of Marvel and do other stuff where he can show that he actually can act. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, look, we got to move on. I can't even remember who I am anymore, nor can I remember the name of any movies or actors, which tells me that I need to go eat lunch.
That's shocking, because you're usually the king of that kind of trivia.
I'm usually right on, man. I'm losing my touch. All right, so real quick before we wrap up, MoviePass. It's back, baby. And I don't just say it's back in some kind of like kitschy, laughy way, because we've been talking about MoviePass coming back for 2 years. I mean, they keep having these like marketing events, these gimmicks. They were selling like MoviePass merch for a while. I mean, the whole thing was so dumb. And now they're actually back with a plan that I was looking through, and I was like, this actually seems decent. So let me just go through what MoviePass has to offer you. So they have partnered with apparently 4,000 different movie theater locations throughout the country, including those by AMC, Regal, Cinemark, and a slew of other smaller regional chains. How hilarious is that, Lewis? What they were trying to do the entire time with the $10 movie pass, and they could never get accomplished. I think COVID helped them out. I think movie theaters are struggling to such a degree that now they're actually willing to entertain a movie pass type service. So how does it work? So they have different subscription models, okay? And they have one that starts at $10. And for $10 a month, you could see up to 3 movies. This pricing is not good in California, or I guess Southern California, or the New York metro area. They have different plans for those areas, which I'm sure are way more expensive. But I was thinking to myself, $10 a month to see 3 movies, that's $3 per movie. Or $3.30
Yeah, check the math. Hey, $3.30.
That's pretty good for a movie, man.
That's unbelievable.
Like, if you'll actually go see 3 movies a month, then their $10 plan is actually a great deal. And now it's 2D movies only. But the thing is you could schedule your tickets right from within the MoviePass app. So you don't have to like go to the theater and buy a ticket and all this nonsense that you had to do before. You can just go and schedule your theater right within the app. So that's incredible. Now, if you want to see more movies than 3 a month, I would say, do you have a job? But or you're clearly single. But if you want to see more movies than that, they have a $20 a month plan, which allows you to see up to 7 movies a month. They have a premium plan, which is $30 a month, which allows you to see up to 11 movies a month. And then they have a $40 a month plan, which allows you to see 30 movies a month. Now, I don't know why you would go with MoviePass if you're seeing that many movies. Like, if you're going to see 30 movies a month, you'd probably be better off just doing the Regal plan or the AMC plan, which is hilarious that they even have those. I mean, that was the MoviePass effect that pushed those theaters into doing a subscription model. But I think AMC's subscription service is like $20-something a month, low 20s. Same with Regal. So if you're going to see more than, I don't know, 5 or 6 movies a month, you probably should just go with, well, I guess if you're going to see more than 3, you should probably just go with your local theater. But MoviePass lets you go to any of the theaters in their network. So you get a lot more variety if you go via MoviePass. And who's seeing more than 7 movies a month, man?
Yeah, you know what? I when you brought this up, I was like, you got to be kidding me. But I went in and I looked at it. I clicked on the list of participating movie theaters. They actually have Alamo Drafthouse New Mission, which is my favorite movie theater in the world.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Alamo, but they have really fun places to see movies. And you know, that's an encouraging sign. I didn't look at the full list because there's, you know, in California, there's dozens of them. But, you know, they got the big ones, of course, but the fact that they had Alamo, that was the first thing I was looking for. And for instance, so you're saying $10 a month, I can go see 3 movies. I haven't seen a movie in a theater since the pandemic started, I don't think. Not one. Not because I'm afraid to go back, just because I got out of the habit. And three a month is pretty good. $10, that's less than what it's going to cost you to see one. And for instance, like a lot of these places have their own plans, right? Alamo has a plan. If you want to sign up to the Alamo subscription for only $29.99 a month, you can see a movie a day. But who's got time for that, right? So I think this $10, this might be the thing that gets me to get my cheapskate butt back
Dude,
into a
I
movie
might
theater.
do it. I honestly might do it. I'm looking at the theaters for Washington State, and I mean, it's got all the major theaters. It's got the ones near my house. It's also got some of the smaller, the smaller like, let's see here. Is it here? Artisanal theaters, you know, like the ones that have like really cool design on the interior and have like unique seating and that type of thing.
Yeah, that's like Alamo. They have you know, the food and drink service at your table.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
I mean, they've got all sorts of stuff in here.
I wonder if this allows you to see any movie that they show, or if it's only, I mean, I know it's restricted to 2D.
I think it's any 2D movie. I mean, I don't think it covers the, is it not Vandango. They have those events, those movie events at the theaters where they're
Fathom.
showing, Fathom events. Like, I don't think you can use this to see those.
But I wonder, so like, for instance, Alamo, they have things like, you know, Terror Tuesday, right? Where they love to show these vintage movies like, you know, They Live or something like that. So you get this chance to see this movie on a big screen that was, you know, released before you were born. I wonder if you can do that, and if you can see like all the latest releases, or if it's like a subset. So it'd be very interesting to see if it's limited in any way. But the list of theaters is shockingly long. It's kind of unfortunate they're all listed by you know, by state. I mean, there must be, I said dozens. There's hundreds of theaters listed in California.
I thought the list of theaters was going to be slim and bad.
Exactly.
But these are actually all the major movie theaters in my area. So that's what I'm saying, man. $10 a month. If you actually want to see movies, I feel like 3 movies a month is like the perfect number. You know, it's like not quite every weekend, but every weekend you could go see a movie, even if you only saw 2 a month. $5 per movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of worth it, in my opinion.
I mean, even one. I mean, that's how much does a single ticket cost you?
Yeah, $14 in Seattle.
So.
I mean, if you go, the movie theaters are struggling so bad, dude. Like now they have, I don't know about California, but at least in Washington, at least in my local area, they have $6 Tuesdays. So if you go on a Tuesday, movie tickets are $6, and popcorn is half price.
Oh,
so you know,
price popcorn.
Half price, so it's only $45. So they're trying to do whatever they can to lure people back in, but COVID's so decimated Hollywood. I mean, one of the big problems is, like, what movies are even coming out that you would want to see anymore? I never see movies that come to theaters anymore. They all go straight to streaming. So I don't really know, for that reason, if it would be worth seeing 3 movies a month, because I don't even know if there's 3 that are worth seeing every month. But shoot, $10 a month for 3 movies, I honestly might give this a shot.
There is something special about seeing a movie in a theater.
Oh, totally. I totally agree. I love going to the movie theater. I love being at the movies. I love seeing it on the big screen. I love the energy of having other people in the theater with me. But,
Yeah.
Again, like COVID so decimated Hollywood. Like they just were not able to produce anything. And so now when I look at, I used to go into the Apple Movie Previews app all the time and like just look to see what's coming out. And now I go in there and it's like this sad, pathetic list of movies that no one's ever heard of. It's like The Girl with the Second or the Third Foot. It's like, what?
That sounds kind of interesting.
Like The Adventures of Sushi. It's like, what is this? There's stuff in there that makes no sense. So, but that's the thing. If you don't really care, $3.30 per movie, if you do MoviePass, and you can go anywhere you want, like that actually is an appealing offer to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think you need a MoviePass per person. Yeah, you can't share it, obviously. All right, guys. You know what? I think that's it, Lewis. Do you have anything else before I start the music?
I can't think of nothing.
Okay. Well, then you know what?
I think it's time to go.
We're sputtering to an end. I can't even remember anything anymore. I'm forgetting the names of all the movies and all the actors. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. But you know what? The party never stops. Me and Lewis, we're both on the new Twitter, duking it out. And if you want, you can come join us there. I'm at Airfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank you all for listening and hanging out live. And we will see you guys. Look at this cross arm action. Next time. Should we stop the music and go another hour? What do you think, chat? Now, if you don't want us to talk about Apple and you don't care about structure, I could do another 2 hours easy. I could talk about Disneyland for another 30 minutes. It's actually hard to keep the show shorter. If you just put me on here and told me I had to be done in 2 or 3 hours, I feel like that would actually be easier.
Wind him up and let him go.
If you don't care what we talk about. Oh, yeah, we'll see y'all at the Cultimac party at WWDC Live.
Oh, jeez.
TC has personally invited us all. We're going to be having it at the Steve Jobs Theater.
Man, that is coming right up.
It's, I think, next week.
I don't think it is next week.
Don't fact check me live here on the Airless. So rude. Maybe the week after. I was speaking in generalities.
I see.
All right, everyone. That's all we have for you. I'm hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak. Have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.